Throughout the history of our country, South Sudan, there is no institution of government that has been placed on the spotlight like the judiciary. Throughout the history of our country, the judiciary has never handled an issue of such a magnitude, an issue just like the one happening back home in South Sudan. Hello everyone, welcome to the Concern Podcast, where we unpack political, social, economic, and cultural stories shaping our world. I'm Emmanuel Taban, and just as usual, in this video, I want to explain to you how the current trial of the first Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan, His Excellency Riek Machar Teny, and his colleagues, I want to explain to you how their prosecution that is ongoing in Juba can be a very, very positive step towards constitutionalism in South Sudan. How the trial of Machar, Kang Chol, and all their co-accused can be a very good move towards attaining constitutionalism in the Republic of South Sudan. Now, before we proceed with our video, if this is your first time watching a video on this channel, please don't hesitate to subscribe. Hit the subscription button. It's a very good way of supporting me. It's a very encouraging way of making more videos. And if you feel the video is worth it, you can also share with your friends and your closest circle. It motivates me. It's a way of making this channel grow. And thanks so much for those who keep supporting this channel. Just yesterday, I uploaded a video, and that really got a very positive reaction. Got over 12,000 views in less than 24 hours and over 350 subscribers in less than a day. Very encouraging. Thank you so much for those who are always supporting this channel, and I want to ensure you that this is where we will get very interesting and informative information about our country back home, South Sudan, about East Africa, about the African continent. Interesting. And back to the purpose of our video. As I said, that on this video I want to try to explain to you and tell you how the ongoing trial of Vice President Machar and his colleagues can be a very good move towards constitutionalism. Now, throughout the history of our country, South Sudan, there is no institution of government that has been placed on the spotlight like the judiciary. Throughout the history of our country, the judiciary has never handled an issue of such a magnitude, an issue just like the one happening back home in South Sudan, which includes the trial not only of individuals, but of top-ranking figures in the country. And therefore, I know this video might not be received well by other people. I know there are people out there who feels that the trial of Machar and his colleagues is a very dangerous move towards the thin peace that our country is experiencing. There's so many people who believe that the trial that is ongoing is a political witch hunt, is politically motivated, is orchestrated by the government of the Republic of South Sudan against their opponents. There are people who hold such beliefs strongly. I understand you. But beyond looking at this case through the lenses that you are seeing through looking at this case, believing that it's a political witch hunt, beyond looking at it as an attack or a way by President Kiir to attack their opponents, beyond looking at this case in those lenses or through those lenses, what positive outcome are you seeing in the current trial of President or Vice President Riek Machar Teny and his colleagues towards attaining constitutionalism in our country? And by constitutionalism, I mean the belief that there is no one above the law, no matter the position you hold, whether being a person of high profile in the government, you're subject to the rule of law. You are subject to face the law, and that once you are alleged to have committed certain crimes, you're taken through the appropriate steps of facing justice. By saying rule of or constitutionalism, I mean having the belief that our systems, our institutions, our organs of government play their respective roles, where the executive is tasked with the responsibility of drawing plans to run the country, but they are under supervision by the legislature, and that the judiciary operates independently. By constitution, by constitutionalism, I mean holding all those responsible in public positions accountable for all their actions. And therefore, the arraigning of Machar and his colleagues at the courts could set a very, very good precedent that the legal scholars in our countries, the private advocates, the public, could follow easily in making sure that it does not only end with Machar, or if it starts with Machar, any other person can go through the same way. If you are a minister, if you are an executive director of any institution, or if you are a director of any government-linked corporation, if you mismanage government or public revenues, if you are involved in any scandal, you can be arraigned before the courts of law to face justice. And this is not only about the crimes such as the ones that Machar and his colleagues are charged with. This will go down to other petty crimes, things to do with corruption, mismanagement of public fund, things to do with involvement in scandals and having, getting involved in some illegal practices by public figures. From now onwards, our public and private legal scholars should take it to themselves and try to put the judiciary on the spotlight. The private legal experts, or those who are practicing law in our country, should know that from now onward, it is their responsibility to take these public officials to the courts of law should they be showing signs of mismanaging our public resources. It is legal from now onwards that if anybody try to behave above the law, they can actually be taken to face justice. And I feel that this has started with the current charges that Machar is facing right now. beyond looking at this case as a political witch hunt, beyond looking at it as an attack on a specific community, beyond looking at it as an attack by Kiir towards his opponents, I feel there are so many better things to look for or outcomes that could easily come out due to the ongoing trial in Juba. And the most important one is that this trial is going to set a starting point that there is no one above the law. No one is above the law. From now onwards, people are going to be on the lookout for public officials. Citizens should start writing petitions when they start realizing that the people serving their interests and not actually doing it rightly. It is their right. And surrounding the Constitution, it is their right to protest against any decision that the government is not doing it rightly. It is the right of the citizens to protest peacefully. And that if the judiciary has the jurisdiction to preside over such case and make a ruling on them, the judiciary as well has the right or the responsibility to make a ruling that allow the members of the public to protest against every decision that they feel is not right that the government is doing. This is the precedent that the judiciary is setting, that the government is setting. That if Machar can be taken to the courts of law to face charges, any other member of the public, including the vice presidents, can be taken as well. And that if any verdict that the courts comes up with about this case, and that the government upholds, or that the SPLM-IO upholds, any other ruling that the judiciary is going to come out with should as well be upheld. Whether being giving the citizens or the people the right to go on the street and protest, if that is the ruling that the judiciary is going to provide, so it must be respected as well. So beyond looking at this ongoing trial of Machar as a political witch hunt, as an attack on the community, as an attack on political opponents, this could actually be a very good step towards constitutionalism. There's so many countries that have evolved from anarchy to constitutional systems simply because of the political will or of the willingness of the judiciary to deliver in cases such as this. And therefore, the case of Machar could be a very good step, could be a very good start to us as a nation, to South Sudan, to the beginning of reforms, to the beginning of rule of law. And I believe, I trust that if this case is handled properly, without the interference of the state, with well knowledge of the judiciary, and with fact evidence that can convince the members of the public that indeed those accused have either committed the charges that were made against them or are false, if there are clear evidence given, and that the judiciary is convinced and gives out a verdict that convinces the members of the public, from now onwards, our country is likely to be at the beginning of constitutional reforms, constitutional revolution. And I believe that this is a very, very good step. Thank you so much. I'm Emmanuel Taban, and this is the Concern Podcast. And if you feel these videos are interesting, if you feel these videos interest you, please continue supporting us. And until next time, I remain Emmanuel Taban, and this is the Concern Podcast. Thank you.